All right, here we go. Man, really good team that we're about to face here this week. Got a lot of respect for their playmakers all across the field. I mean, defensively, obviously, it starts with Maxx Crosby there. He's I think, in my opinion, he's a top 5 player in this league on defense, and probably doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. He's all over the place, relentless, high motor, and you got to account for him and know where he's at every single snap, or else he'll get you. And he wrecks drives. That's what he does. And then they've got great team speed on that side. Those guys are flying around. Offensively, they got playmakers at every position group. The quarterback's playing at a high level. I think they're the #1 team in explosive plays right now on offense. And so we got our work cut out for us. And that goes without even mentioning their head coach, who, I got a ton of respect for Pete Carroll. He's been doing this for almost 30 years. Whether at the college level or the NFL, and I think he only has 4 losing seasons. So that's a credit to who he is. The teams take his identity. They play hard, they play fast, they play physical, they fly around, and I know that he'll have this group ready to go here this week. So we got to answer that call. We're still looking for our first road win, and we have yet to obviously win 2 games back to back, and so that's huge for us and where we're going. I'll open it up from there.
Have you had any interactions with Pete Carroll?
No, I haven't. I don't have much of that tree in me, and but I do from afar. I've always respected him.
And with all the effort and practice last week, which translated to the game, obviously, did you set a new precedent for the team? Like, do you not have to push that part anymore, push that button in terms of keeping these guys at the effort level you want?
We had a really good week of preparation last week, and we need to do the same thing here this week. And if we do that, we give ourselves a chance to win the game.
Sift through Caleb's performance and production from Sunday. What do you want him to carry forward with him from what he did on Sunday?
I think it's the comfort level right now of taking all this information over the course of the week, which is a lot. We just had a walkthrough and we screw some things up, and that's because we just talked about it for the first time, and we're going to screw a couple things up in the walkthrough. Well, we got to get better at it during practice, and then I think what I'm most impressed at with him and his process is the next day he really locks everything in from the day before, and we don't have to go back and revisit it again. So he's a quick study in that regard, and because of that, we can load up the game plan more each week. Week 3 was a lot more than week 1, and hopefully that's our new normal here going forward. Is not just for him but for the entire offense. We can have a little bit more in the game plan to help attack some of these defenses, and so because he's doing that and his comfort level is growing, we're able to grow as an offense.
And how do you feel about the run game through 3 weeks, and where can it be better?
It can be better all over the place right now. We're very conscious of it. We watched all of our runs as a group the other day, Monday, and I think I've alluded to it in the past that it can take a little bit of time before this all meshes and it all gels together. We got some new faces up front that haven't played a ton of ball together yet, and so that's part of the process. It's also for the runners to understand what we intend to do with some of these play calls, where we want that ball to hit. And then at the end of the day, they take their natural skill set and they make something big out of it. Our whole goal as a coaching staff is to get them up to the 3rd level as much as we can to make these safeties and these corners tackle them one-on-one. We haven't been doing that enough, and so as a coaching staff, we need a sound plan, and then we need to go out there and we need to execute it just a little bit better than what we have been doing. But I'm not discouraged at all. I see how close we are to this thing really coming together, and I think that was really the point of the meeting there on Monday, was those guys see the same thing.
Ben, going back to Dan's question about Caleb and the way he's progressing, do you see some things? You guys are 3 games in, months of practice, months and months in the offseason together. Do you see some things specifically that you can point out with him that are just solid now?
Yeah, I see him playing the game with his feet much more so than what we had in the spring or during training camp. He's trying to tie in, number 1 in the progression with the first hitch, number 2 with the second hitch, and we're trying to throw on time a lot more often than maybe we were initially. And so I see it coming along, and I give a lot of credit to the guys in that room with him. JT Barrett's doing a really good job. champion the cause of what we're trying to get done as a coaching staff. And then, Tyson's got his back and Case Keenum's got his back as well. And so it's been a group effort, and he's been receptive to it all. I can't say enough really about the approach. I keep going back to it. When you have the approach that's right, we're going to continue to see him get better. It's kudos to him. He won Offensive Player of the Week there for the NFC, and he came in today and completely unfazed by it. I tried to recognize him in front of the group, and he wasn't having it. It's very stoic, and he's already on to the next game. He knows he needs to have an even better performance here this week to give us the best chance to win.
Will Kyler or TJ practice today?
To be determined.
And when the offensive line doesn't give up a sack, Caleb's never been through a game where he hasn't been sacked. What does that do for the confidence of that front five, but also the quarterback's confidence in that?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, they did a phenomenal job blocking for him. And so when we're talking about him playing with his feet, playing through those hitches, and yet he's not having to move off the spot, it really helps him out immensely, because that's where if you're trying to get to 2 or 3 and you're feeling some pressure, you're seeing some color, and your eyes go down and they're off the spot, that's where the timing and the rhythm of everything we're trying to get done gets thrown off. And so, I think those guys did a great job last week. Obviously, we got a whole different challenge here this week with their pass rush. They have some really good blitzers at the second level as well, whether it's the linebackers or their nickels that we got to account for. And so it's going to take a whole group effort to have another day like that.
What do you think of the Genty coming out of college?
He's a phenomenal player. I thought the world of him. He's a hard guy to bring down, compact yet powerful. You better have low pad level when you're looking to tackle this guy, or else he's going to lower his shoulder and run you over. He's got that mentality. He brought it with him from college. You see it through the first 3 games of the season so far, where he's fearless. He sees a little bit of air. He steps on the gas, and he plays violently. So he's a guy that we're certainly aware of, and we got to do the best that we can to bottle him up.
How are you? So those things you just mentioned about him, how are you seeing that when he hasn't really gotten off to a very good start this season?
Yeah. I mean, I think offensively through 3 games, you would say that their passing game's a little bit ahead of their running game, but that's us also, right? So I'm sure they're working to fix whatever issues they perceive they have, just like we are on offense here. So like I said, though, they've got tremendous playmakers throughout. The quarterback has played some really good football over the last few years. He's doing that again this year. And they've got some weapons all over the place. So we got our work cut out for us.
What can you do on, because Javonte Williams had like a high average 7.6 against the run defense, and with Genty coming in. Do you see some solutions from the tape from that Dallas game that you can apply to?
Yeah, well, I think there's also I'm with you. Like no one wants to give up over 5 yards a carry. No one does. Yet when I look at the scoreboard and I see we gave up 14 points to a really good offense, then I'm pretty proud of our game plan. I'm proud of the way the guys executed it, because we played that game the way we thought we needed to play it, and we'll look to be better in the run game here this week. That's always a point of emphasis for us, but our goals and our objectives to win the game, they vary, and sometimes if you're gonna take away a couple dynamic receivers in the passing game, you might play with a lighter box in the running game, and you might give up a few more yards in the running game than you'd like. So schematically, there's something to that, but at the same time, each week's its own story, and we're gonna do whatever we think we need to do to win that ball game.
And on the first touchdown to Rome told us after the game that he adjusted his route when he saw Diggs slip. How encouraging was it to see Caleb and Rome adjust on the fly and make that touchdown happen?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the natural connection that those two have. It was a great release by Rome, and week 1, you see growth all across the board from week 1 all the way to week 3, and that's a good example of it. Week 1, we had one of those mailbox plays, and we weren't able to connect, and then week 3 we did, and we were. I'd say very similar to our defense there week 1, right before halftime, no timeouts and about 20 seconds left, and we gave up an explosive play and gave up a field goal before halftime. Well, this past week, almost the same scenario. and yet they were able to hold for us, and we were able to get into halftime without giving up any points. And so that's to me as a coach, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for how are we getting better each week? How are we growing as a team through this first quarter of the season? We'll reassess everything once we get to the bye and go on from there. But as always, everything about this week today is the preparation for how do we win one game here this week.
You say
Is Luther showing he can make those same sort of adjustments? Cause I know when Caleb talked about the flea flicker, he said he underthrew him a couple times in practice, but then did you see something in the game when you talk about trust of a young rookie, being able to get that of the quarterback, but also of you? Is he showing he can do that through 3 weeks?
Yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better. You know, it's for these young players that they haven't been through probably this much volume going into a game week, this much variety of formations, this much detail with both the run game and the passing game. It can be a lot, and he's doing a good job with Coach Randall right now, sitting down, putting extra work in, making sure he digests everything, and what we put in and whether it looks good or doesn't look good, we're coaching up and we're getting it fixed, and come game day, they were able to fix it and get on the same page. And so that builds confidence, not just amongst themselves, but also as a coaching staff where, man, a play might not look great over the course of practice, but we know behind the scenes we're putting in the work that we can still make it work on game day.
You said you didn't think leveling was serious, but you'd evaluate him Tuesday and Wednesday. Did you prove correct? Did that prove correct?
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
Like,
We'll see the report at the end of the day, right?
what advantage are you gaining?
Huh?
What advantage are you gaining by making us wait a few hours?
What is the issue with you waiting a couple hours? All right.